Have you ever thought about how cool it'd be to just speak one language
Oh, yeah.
and be understood everywhere?
Yeah.
Today we're diving into Esperanto, a
Okay.
language literally invented to do just that.
It's a fascinating language.
It is.
Yeah.
We're looking at an article
Oh, wow.
called Discover Esperanto, the world's universal language from Lingua.com. To get to the bottom of this,
Okay.
is it really possible?
Right.
Could Esperanto actually work for global communication?
Well,
I know.
to understand that,
Yeah.
we need to look at where it came from.
Okay.
Esperanto was the brainchild of Dr. L. Zamenhof back in 1887.
Wait, wasn't he an eye doctor?
He was.
I wouldn't exactly picture an ophthalmologist inventing a language.
Yeah, it is a bit unexpected.
Right.
He was a Polish doctor who saw a lot of conflict and misunderstanding
Yeah.
stemming from language barriers,
Makes sense.
especially in his hometown of Białystok,
Okay.
which was incredibly diverse.
So,
He really believed that a common language could help bring about peace and understanding.
so he set out to create one himself.
He did.
What an undertaking.
Yeah, it was a huge, ambitious project.
Yeah.
And the name he chose, Esperanto, means one who hopes,
Okay.
which is so fitting considering his dream of global harmony.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So how did he actually go about creating Esperanto?
Well,
Did he invent totally new words and grammar?
he was much more strategic than that.
Or
He wanted Esperanto to be easy to learn.
Right.
So instead of reinventing the wheel, he borrowed vocabulary from a lot of different languages.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like a greatest hits compilation of global languages.
I love that.
Right.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from Romance languages.
Okay.
Think Spanish, French, Italian.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also influences from Germanic, Greek, and Slavic languages.
Wow.
He was really aiming for something that would feel familiar to a lot of people.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Clever. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Did you do something similar with the grammar?
absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, this might be the most surprising part of Esperanto.
Okay.
The grammar is remarkably simple.
Okay.
Only 16 basic rules.
Oh, wow.
And get this,
Wow.
no exceptions.
Hold on. No exceptions.
No exceptions.
At all.
None.
Wow.
No irregular verbs to memorize.
Oh, my God.
No weird exceptions to gender rules.
That's amazing.
Verbs always conjugate the same way.
That's so cool.
Nouns always have the same ending.
Wow.
Even the stress falls on the second to last syllable every single time.
Okay. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Even I could potentially wrap my head around that,
Yeah.
I think.
You'd be surprised by how quickly you could pick it up.
Yeah.
For example, all nouns end in O,
Okay.
and adjectives end in O.
Mm-hmm.
Verbs are equally consistent.
Okay.
For example, as at the end of a verb means present tense.
Okay.
Is for the past tense.
Gotcha.
And os means future tense.
So if I wanted to say beautiful cat in Esperanto, would it be kato bella?
You got it.
Oh, wow.
And usually the word order is subject, verb, object,
Okay.
just like in English.
This is making me think about all the time I spent agonizing over irregular verbs in French class.
Yeah.
Esperanto almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, there's a lot to be said for its simplicity and logic.
Yeah.
Of course, no language exists in a vacuum.
Right.
There's a whole community built around Esperanto,
Okay.
and that's where things get really interesting.
So is there actually a group of people out there speaking this language?
There is.
Tell me everything.
Yeah. And it's more vibrant than you might think.
I have to admit, I'm picturing a small group of dedicated enthusiasts.
Okay.
Maybe enough to fill a small conference room.
Right.
Am I way off base?
More than you realize.
Really?
Estimates put the number of Esperanto speakers somewhere between 1 and 2 million people worldwide.
Wow. That's way more than I expected.
Yeah.
I guess I always assumed it was a pretty niche thing.
It's certainly not as widespread as English or Mandarin,
Right.
but it's a significant community. And here's something that might surprise you.
Okay.
Around 1,000 people speak Esperanto as their first language.
No way.
They were raised speaking it at home.
So there are families all over the world using this language every day.
Yeah,
I guess that puts a whole new spin on the idea of it being viable, right?
absolutely.
It's not just an academic exercise.
Yeah.
Where do most of these Esperanto speakers live?
You'll find them all over the globe.
Okay.
But there are concentrations in Europe, East Asia, and South America.
Gotcha.
Some of the most active communities are in countries like the UK,
Okay.
Belgium,
Uh-huh.
Brazil,
Wow.
and even the US.
A truly global community.
Yeah.
Do they ever get together in person?
They do.
I'm picturing some kind of Esperanto convention.
You're not far off.
Okay.
There's a World Esperanto Congress held every year,
Oh, wow.
which has been running since 1905.
That's amazing.
Thousands of people attend.
Really?
Well, except during major world events, of course.
Yes, that makes sense.
The world wars put a bit of a damper on things,
Right.
and the 2020 pandemic forced them to cancel.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
I have to imagine the internet has been a game changer for the Esperanto community.
Absolutely. It's much easier to connect with other speakers online.
Right.
You can find Esperanto resources on major platforms like Wikipedia and Google.
Oh, okay.
And there are communities on Facebook and other social media sites.
Wait, are you telling me there's Esperanto on Duolingo,
There is?
the language learning app?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And it's surprisingly popular. Since it was added in 2015, over 1 million people have started learning Esperanto on Duolingo.
I guess that shouldn't be too surprising.
Yeah.
Learning a language online is so much easier than ever before.
It is.
I'll bet a lot of those new learners are younger people, too.
I think you're right. And there's a certain synergy between the early internet and Esperanto.
Oh, yeah. Both are about breaking down barriers
Okay.
and connecting people across borders. It's a natural fit.
It makes you wonder if Zamenhof could have ever imagined something like the internet when he was creating Esperanto.
Right.
It's almost like it was made for this kind of global digital age.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But even with its simplicity and this thriving online community,
Right.
I know Esperanto has faced its share of criticism.
That's true.
Yeah.
There are definitely some who question whether Esperanto is truly viable.
Right.
What are some of the arguments they make?
Well, the most common criticism is that it simply doesn't have enough speakers.
Okay.
Compared to languages like English, Spanish, or Mandarin,
Right.
2 million speakers is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
So the practical applications can feel pretty limited.
I can see that point of view.
Yeah.
It does seem like a chicken and egg problem.
Mm-hmm.
You need more speakers for it to be useful,
Right.
but people are less likely to learn it if it doesn't seem widely used. Exactly. Some critics also point to the fact that other constructed languages,
Okay.
like Volapük, have
Yep.
come and gone.
Right.
They see Esperanto as following the same path,
Yeah.
ultimately destined to fade away.
And then there's a political aspect.
Right.
Esperanto has been caught in the crossfire of political conflicts, right?
Unfortunately, yes. It was seen as a threat by some regimes.
Oh, wow.
Both Stalin's Soviet Union and Hitler's Nazi Germany banned it
Really?
because they saw its ideals of international unity as dangerous.
That's so interesting.
It's hard to know how much that hindered its growth,
Right.
but it certainly didn't help.
So where does that leave us?
Wow.
It sounds like Esperanto has this incredible potential to connect people,
Yeah,
but it also faces these very real challenges.
right.
Is there a future for it?
That's a good question.
Can it really achieve Zamenhof's dream of becoming a truly universal language?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
While widespread adoption might be a long shot,
Mm.
I don't think that diminishes the importance of what Esperanto represents.
What do you mean?
Even if it never becomes the dominant language of the world, it still serves as this powerful symbol of intercultural understanding and linguistic diversity.
So it's more about the message it sends than the number of speakers.
It's about both, really.
Okay.
But I think its impact goes beyond just the practical aspects of communication.
Right.
Esperanto demonstrates that we can find common ground, that we can bridge cultural divides,
Yeah.
and that communication barriers aren't insurmountable.
It's almost like a proof of concept.
Exactly.
You can create a language that's accessible to people all over the world.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe someday we'll see that on a larger scale.
that's an optimistic thought.
Yeah.
But even if that doesn't happen,
Right.
Esperanto's role as a cultural bridge is becoming more and more relevant
Okay.
as the world gets smaller and more interconnected.
Okay. I'm really intrigued by this idea of Esperanto as a cultural bridge.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? Okay. I'm really intrigued by this idea of Esperanto as a cultural bridge. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, imagine a world where you could attend an international conference
Okay.
or festival
Right.
and communicate effortlessly with people from all over the world,
Yeah.
regardless of their native language.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
No more awkward fumbling with translation apps or relying on a few bilingual heroes to bridge the communication gap.
Exactly. And think about traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being able to have like real meaningful conversations with locals wherever you go,
Right.
sharing stories and experiences without the frustration of a language barrier.
I love to travel.
Yeah.
And I've always found that even being able to say a few basic phrases in the local language makes such a difference.
Right.
It creates a sense of connection,
Yeah.
a feeling that we're all in this together.
That's exactly what Esperanto aims to do,
Yeah.
create a sense of shared humanity. It's not about replacing existing languages
Right.
or imposing a dominant culture.
Gotcha.
It's about building a bridge, a common ground where everyone can meet and connect.
That feels especially relevant in today's world,
I agree.
where divisions and misunderstandings seem so prevalent.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the cognitive benefits
right.
of learning languages,
Yeah.
including constructed ones like Esperanto.
Okay.
Studies have shown that multilingualism can boost cognitive flexibility, improve memory, and even delay the onset of age-related cognitive decline.
So learning Esperanto is like a workout for your brain
Yes.
and a bridge to other cultures.
I like a brain workout and a cultural bridge. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe as artificial intelligence and machine learning continue to advance,
Right.
we'll see even more innovative uses for Esperanto.
Like what?
Well, perhaps it could become a universal language for programming,
Okay.
or a way for humans to communicate more effectively with AI systems.
Wow. That's a really fascinating thought.
Yeah.
A language designed for human connection,
Right.
finding new life in the realm of technology.
Yeah.
I never would have considered that.
It's pretty cool.
Or this-
The possibilities are endless. The point is, Esperanto's future is not fixed.
Right.
It has the potential to adapt and evolve as the world changes. And its underlying principles of simplicity,
Yeah.
neutrality, and universality remain as relevant as ever.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the world of Esperanto.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating language.
We've learned about its surprisingly simple structure,
Right.
its dedicated community, and its potential to bridge cultures.
It has a lot to offer.
We've also talked about the challenges it's faced,
Yeah,
the criticisms it's endured,
right.
and the uncertainties surrounding its future.
For sure.
But one thing is clear. Esperanto is more than just a language.
I agree.
It's a symbol of hope, a reminder that communication and connection are at the heart of a more peaceful and understanding world.
And on that note, I'd like to leave our listener with something to ponder.
Okay.
If Esperanto were to suddenly gain widespread adoption,
Right.
what would that mean for the world?
Oh, that's interesting.
What positive and negative consequences could you foresee?
That's a great question to leave everyone with.
Yeah.
There's a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Esperanto.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep connecting with the world around you.